All right, so we talk about a lot of Tuscan wines here. We love Tuscan wine. We're huge fans of the wines of Tuscany. Beautiful place, fantastic wines. But you know, Tuscany is a big place, right? And this is what we have to contend with. All y'all know Chianti Classico, you know Brunello di Montalcino, you know maybe Vino Nobile di Montepulciano. But beyond that, things start getting a little sketchy, right? Like, what is Tuscan wine? And the fact of the matter is there's these little pockets of Tuscany that produce very particular special wines that aren't known to the general public. Instead, they're known to the cognoscenti. They're known to the folks in the know. They're known to folks that, you know, read lots of different wine books and journals, et cetera, et cetera. And today we have one of those reading fancy wine book journal Tuscan wines available for you to taste and enjoy. This is a very particular beautiful wine, Caiarossa. And the deal with Caiarossa has a long history, but let me rephrase that. Caiarossa has a long history, but the wines, the earlier versions of this wine were always a bit rustic. They were singular, but rustic and unique and classic and typical, but really never made it over the hump. Well, in 2004, a Dutch businessman by the name of Eric Albada purchased the property. And this gentleman is also the owner of Chateau Giscourt and Chateau du Tertre in Bordeaux, in Margaux particularly. And what he managed to do after he purchased the property and go through the process of spinning this wine into something even more special is a great story indeed. So what we have in front of us is stuff. All right. What you have to understand in Tuscany is you have a lot of different terroirs, you have soil types, you have multiple soil types, you have great weather, right? Why do people go to Tuscany? Why do they go to Chianti Classico? Why do they have this experience? Because the weather is very nice. It's sunny, maybe a bit warm in summer, maybe a bit sticky here and there, but there's steak, there's Sangiovese, there's sunshine, there's vegetables, there's olive oil, game on. Now, the deal with this property is all about location. They're kind of out in the middle of nowhere, an area called Cina. And this is kind of like, you know, you got Pisa up here, you got Bolgheri, and you got Cina kind of out here. It's kind of out in the middle of nowhere. It's its own unique little spot. And accordingly, many different varieties were planted here. So this isn't like, oh, this is a Merlot place. And this isn't Sangiovese flourishes magnificently here. Or, oh, the Cabernet Franc. No, this place is a warm hug for all of these grape varieties. It's a very special location. Gravelly soils, big rocks in the soils. I think you do have some limestone going on, white soils, and you have a situation where almost everything works pretty well here. So the key is dialing in the blend. The key is micro-vinifications. The key is creating a scenario where every aspect of this vineyard is magnified so that that final blend that you have is the best blend that you can make. And I think that's what these guys have done with their ownership over the last few years. And it's taken a long time. And to me, this 2018 Caiarossa is the breakthrough wine. What a friggin' wine. I always found this wine maybe a bit too lean sometimes, a bit too severe some vintages, a bit too linear, a bit too, you know, like, yeah, I get it. It's like terroir, but it's not really pleasurable. And what these fabulous Dutch people have done is incorporate a modicum of pleasure into the wine, which I absolutely adore at this juncture. Not only that, we have the 2018 vintage, which is a super pleasing, generous vintage, but it's not a hot vintage like 17, where the wines are severe and the tannins are severe. The tannins here are silky, elegant, refined. So you get this like really polished, beautiful, silky red wine. Now, I'm gonna use a cheat sheet for the grapes because there's a lot of different grapes in this wine. The blend, basically, you know, I think Cabernet Franc leads the way. And then you have Merlot, you got Cabernet Sauvignon, you got Petit Verdot, you got Sangiovese, Syrah, and Alicante, which is the Italian term for Grenache. which is Grenache is actually found along the Tuscan coast in Maremma, and especially in Scanzano, in that area. Grenache has always been incorporated into the blends in a certain amount. And we think that Grenache came from Sardinia and found its way over. But there's always been a touch of Grenache along the Tuscan coast with some of these blends. And this wine's no different. And boy, let me tell you, the folks in Bordeaux started selling this wine to us. And at first we were like, yeah, Caiarossa, yeah, not feeling it, et cetera, et cetera. And it's like, no, try this wine. And we said, okay, we got you. Because Caiarossa always had like a pseudo, semi-cult following amongst like some masochistic Swiss people. You know what I mean? It was this type of wine where Caiarossa always had a run with, you know, a couple chalets and resorts in Switzerland and Germany, and yeah, this wine hurts very much, I like it very much. And it's like, no, we didn't want that. And the thing is, the new Caiarossa isn't that anymore, but the terroir is still the same, the mojo is still the same, the vibe is still the same, but they managed to make this wine more, and boy, this wine is that. Too much stuff going on. Here, this melange of grape varieties doesn't detract. They each augment each other. You can feel the Franc, you can feel the Petit Verdot, you can feel the Cabernet, you can feel the Sangiovese in this wine, just in the aromatics. It's remarkable. Man, great. And it's a root day today, which all you dorks, I don't know if you care or not, but this wine's smelling baller on a root day. Dude. I know I'm going out of frame, sorry, or maybe I'm in frame, but this is what? This wine is great. This is the best Caiarossa I've ever had. And this wine already had an amazing cult following. So many layers to this wine. And would you peg it as Italian? I don't know. Would you say Bordeaux? I don't know, but that's the point. What gear here? My God. This has layers and layers. It is an absolutely beautiful wine. The best Caiarossa I've ever had. And you know, when you look at the pundits, they'll tell you the same thing. Well, which by the way, okay, blah, 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 14 months, I think, all French oak. You know, the traditional like Bulgari, like think Sassicaia, Ornellaia, that sort of treatment when making the wine. All right, so that's the standard treatment that we see in this neck of the woods, closer to the Tuscan coast. This wine's no exception to that. But this blend in this terroir, it works. It's beautiful, especially when you have this polish on it. The fine tannin, the elegant filigree tannin in this wine, the silky tannin. It's just, damn, you can drink tons of this. And fact of the matter is, I think great days are ahead for Caiarossa. No, they're already here. I mean, 96 Suckling, 95 Advocate, 95 Spectator. I mean, it's already here. But I still think they're almost like, you know, kind of skimming the surface on this terroir and what this wine's going to be. This is a very exciting wine from the team at Chateau Giscourt. Incredibly exciting wine. And at its current price of $55, we direct imported this. At $55, this wine is half the price, I would say, of wines that work at this same level from the Tuscan coast. Is that fair to say? Yes, that's very fair to say. This is absolutely exquisite Tuscan red wine from an already soulful property that is now really getting its feet under it and producing some of the most compelling wines in Tuscany, especially for this price. $55, absolute steal. Absolutely beautiful, beautiful, beautiful wine. Yay, the Dutch.